there's no way to sugarcoat it. When Mattel decides to cancel a Cars diecast, it really does suck. And unfortunately, they do it quite a lot, but none more than they did in 2010 and 2017. Those 2 years were horrible for Cars diecast cancellations. They were just canning Cars left and right, of course, because both of those years, they were just anticipating for the new movie main lines to come out, like Cars 2 in 2011, but they canceled a lot of Cars in 2010 for some reason. And then, of course, Cars 3 in 2017, which I feel like they were even less prepared for because for some reason they already started a main line for the year and then they just decided to cancel half of it and make Cars 3 have its own main line. And that just took over and canceled everything in the main line that they already had started, including Mr. Corporal Josh Coolant here, who got shafted in 2017 in what I like to call the 2017 Cars Diecast Massacre. Luckily, though, they did end up releasing him finally in 2020 as a deluxe, then again in 2021. This one right here is the 2020 version of him on the Blue Desert card. So, yeah, welcome on back to the Cars Garage, everyone. Very cool car we have today. Of course, Corporal Josh Coolant, one of Sarge's buddies, or I guess one of his pop's buddies, as he says in the movie in Cars 2. He is a Cars 2 character, which is very surprising because honestly, he doesn't really look like one. I feel like when I think of Cars 2, I think of Spies, I think of World Grand Prix. I don't think of this Corporal Army kind of like Range Rover type of car here. And probably just because they really never released any of them before as diecast other than this guy, even though there's a whole boatload of them in the end scene, like the end fight kind of scene in Cars 2 in the busy city streets of London. That's where he appears at. Talk more about that later. But yeah, he basically saves the movie in a way. I guess Sarge saves the movie because he gives his friends at the British military a call, and Corporal Josh Coolant is pretty much just leading the pack, and he does have some speaking lines, so pretty darn cool. He is even based off of, like, his name is based off of someone that like worked on Cars 2, I guess. I think his name's Josh Cooley. He's the storyboard artist and additional story supervisor for Cars 2. Yes, I did write that down because I did not remember that. But I think it's cool. I love when they name the Cars characters off of like actual people that worked on the film. Give them some credit and makes it a little more personable too. Why not? They just change it to Coolant instead of Cooley, so that's kind of funny because cars have coolant in them, I guess, and think in their engines. I don't know. Anyways, very cool looking artwork, very stern, rough and gruff expression he has, and he is in the London Chase series, or he was in 2020. This is his 2020 release, and he was also released in 2021. Now you're probably wondering how I got him. Kind of a random one for me to be reviewing. Usually review like cars that are brand new, But I actually didn't just get one. I didn't just get two, but I actually was able to get three of Corporal Josh Coolant at the Dollarama of all places. I don't understand. Sometimes my luck at the Dollarama for cars is just insane. But yeah, the Dollarama, you guys probably don't have them if you're in the States, but they're all over Canada. There's lots and lots of them. And for some reason, once in a while, they do get some cars on their pegs. They're very lackluster, limited pegs, which usually just have Hot Wheels hanging on them. But I went last month or so. I think it was early October I went. I couldn't believe it. Just went to look for some Halloween stuff for the kiddos for trick-or-treating and whatnot. And I was able to find three Josh Coolants and Dale Ruffalo. Actually, my mom went in. She looked just because she knew I'd want to find them, so she found these two guys for me. I can't believe the gasket's semi-cab. I mean, it's pretty random. Both of these guys are very random to find at the Dollarama. Like in 2023, I just don't really get it. But yeah, she found those two for me. And then later on, she let me know that they had two more Corporal Josh Coolants, and I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. I better go back and get them. So I did. Ran in, got them both. They were still there, and I made a short on that. So that's why you guys probably saw that about a month ago. But I have been waiting for like to do my review of him. I don't really know what I was waiting for. I kind of just forgot about him. I put him away in my drawer, and I kind of forgot about him, much like I did in the last 3 years that he's been out. I never got him back in 2020, and I don't know why. I never bought him online or anything, even though he's not really rare or anything. I don't think he was released in 2021 as well, so he shouldn't be too hard to find. He is a deluxe though, so don't expect him to get released again anytime soon, even though, I mean, just look at his size. He's really not all that much bigger than Sarge. I mean, just look at the two. In fact, I think Sarge might actually be taller. Oh my gosh, Mattel. But whatever, very cool packaging. I do like the Blue Desert design. with the curved Cars logo in the white background there. Very nice, and I love his expression too. See his British flags on him, his big old hat. Very cool. There's a name tag, which we're not really used to anymore. I guess they've always done that with deluxes, even in 2022. When they made the slimmer packaging, they still kept the big blisters for them, of course, because they're heavier, I guess. And I love having a description on the back. That's cool. That's something we're not used to anymore. It says, obviously, because he's from the London Chase series, it says, "The Lemon's evil plans and in a thrilling chase through the busy city streets of London." That's funny, because I call my sister Biddy, and I just said Biddy instead of busy. Very funny. I did just wake up though, so that's probably why I'm a little out of it. Anyways, here is his cool prototype image, looking very stern. And yeah, a couple prototypes from his, or like from the Chinese factories, I guess, where he was going to initially be released in 2017, did get leaked out. I know Mr. Doggett has one. He actually reviewed him before. And yeah, it's pretty cool, but it's not really that much of a difference. So it's not like worth forking out thousands of dollars to get a prototype of him. I wouldn't say. I just settle for this one, which is equally just as cool, but we'll notice a couple little differences because, of course, it's made in Thailand. Without any further ado, though, let's bust him open. Wow, I think we got a full-on army building in the car's garage now. I mean, look at this, guys. Corporal Josh Coolant looks very, very nice, though. I must say, I did not expect him to be this cool out of the packaging, because I just never really liked army-type vehicles like this, but he has a really nice, like, matte finish to his paint, which I was not expecting, and it's just a very cool camouflage design. It's another thing I've never really been a big fan of. I just don't really care for wars, and I don't know, it reminds me of hunting too, and I don't like hunting, so I don't know, I don't know, I'm not a big fan of camouflage, but I gotta say, on this guy, it actually looks pretty cool. It's very, like, I don't know. It just looks very much like rough and gruff. Kind of reminds me of like a Jurassic Park type of vehicle, like the mercenaries and stuff like that. But yeah, I love his expression. Looks very, very cool. He's got his big old red hat, corporal hat. I think that's what that little decal there means. It's like a little pin or something that he's got on it. I think it's for like, it almost looks like wings, like aviation or something. I think it just means corporal though. I really don't know though. Not into army stuff, like I said. But yeah, before we begin, I do want to show you guys where he appeared at in Cars 2, even though I know we talked about it earlier. Obviously, he does have some speaking lines, or really only one speaking line. Says to Sarge, anything for one of Pop's mates. And basically, he just is the leader of the pack of all of the army cars that come to save the Radiator Springs gang from the Lemons. Well, not really save them because they had already defeated them. It's a very unrealistic scene. Nothing about it seems right to me. It's just like how the Radiator Springs townies were able to fight off all these lemons. Like, I don't know. I feel like it kind of broke the realism of the lemons, or like not the realism, but it just broke like the like they seemed very evil before that, and then we just see that scene, and it's like, yeah, they're not that much of a threat. They're just like goofy villains, you know what I mean? But anyways, these guys were there to protect them, even though they're a little late to the game. I guess they just didn't want them to escape. They didn't really fight them off. They were just there, like when the lemons turned the corner. All of the army guys were just there, standing there with Sarge, because Sarge, yeah, Sarge wasn't fighting with the rest of the townies, so that's, I guess, why he went to go call all of his friends in the British military. But yeah, anyways, if you don't know, if you couldn't tell, he is a real life car model, as you can see right there on his hood. It says Land Rover. Apparently, he's a 1994 Land Rover Range Rover P38A. I looked that up just to see some information about him. That's what I found. So that's cool. I didn't know he was like an actual model. I mean, I guess he has to be, but I didn't know like what year he was from. So yeah, 1994. That checks out. Kind of seems like a 1994. Definitely not as modern as some of the ones you see nowadays, because I feel like Land Rovers used to be very like terrain ridden type of vehicles, you know, like they're always out in the mud and stuff, and now I feel like they're almost like luxury cars. So he obviously is an older one. And then he shares the same model with some other Range Rovers, kind of, actually, not as much as I thought. It's not the exact same model as like this one right here. This is Garrett Taylor, or Garrett Taylor, I should say his name is, I think. Like they clarified it. Or it could be the other one. I forget. What's the other one's name? Mike something? I forget. There's two of them. They look pretty much the exact same. but I only have one of them, so compare him later. But yeah, like I was saying, very rough matte finish on him. Love all the colors from the camouflage. Got some black, green, like a forest green, and then like a sage green, and then like some almost like a faded lime green too. It's like a lot of greens. That is what camouflage is, though, I guess. Very cool expression. I love his eyes. They are it is like a plastic eye plate, but it looks pretty much the same as how he was supposed to look in his 2017 Chinese made release. But you can barely see his eyes. They're like only like his eyeballs are only like half shown. But he's got the bottom eyelids, which is cool. I like when cars have that. Makes them look very animated. And then he's got like these little tiny things down here. I don't know what that means. It must mean like some kind of army certification. I have no idea though. Let me know if you do know in the comments, but it's very like rainbowish, so it kind of doesn't really look right, but it's cool. Brings some color onto the sky, and there's the United Kingdom flag, of course. Very cool. Looks perfect next to the Union Jack Ramon right here, my metallic version. Definitely, hopefully, get the regular version of him eventually and review him because it's a very cool Ramon variant. Lots and lots of windows on this guy. It's like the entire top section of him is nothing but windows. It's like there's no paint. It's all just like little blind spots, you know what I mean? That's cool. And it looks like he does have metal side view mirrors. Wow, that's interesting. Cool. Yeah, they are definitely not moving. They're not rubber. Then he's got another UK flag on the side. Little amber light, it looks like. And I don't know what this is. It's like, is that like a ranking? Would that mean the number 2? I don't know. I wish I did, but not really into that kind of stuff, like I said, so I have no idea. And then very nice rims. It's like they painted them silver. Usually when rims are silver, they don't paint them. They just kind of like have them already painted. But it looks like, I don't know, it looks like you can see the paint almost, like it's a little grainy, you know what I mean? But it's alright. Pretty nice for Thailand rims. Looks to be kind of similar. No, not really. To like Garrett's rims here. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, they're not the exact same, but his is like you can see like there's no holes in between them that these are, so that's a little more intricate, which is nice. I love his big red hat. I want to almost say that there's a texture to it, but I don't think there is. If there is, it's hard to feel. I don't think so. It's just like a no. I think it's just supposed to. I think it's just plastic, but I think it's obviously would be cloth probably. So that would have been cool if they would have made a cloth. They don't do that too often. I wish it would come off too. That'd be nice. But then there'd be a big hole in the middle, so that wouldn't really make sense. But yeah, same type of design on this side, it looks like, to me at least. UK flag. Very nice. Taillights back there, nicely detailed. And then he's got a big old license plate back here, and there's a Land Rover logo. I love when they do stuff like that. They bring in the real-life car brands into the world of cars. Just adds another sense of realism. You know, they really should do it more. Even like they should make just like made up logos, but a lot of cars, like background characters and stuff, like it's like they don't even have like an actual car model, or if they do, which I guess they have to, it's like they don't put the logo on. So I always find that kind of weird. Like they only put the logo on usually if it's like an actual real life car model. But anyways, the license plate is LEII and then space IAL. I think it's an I unless it's one. No, I'm sure it's an I. 'Cause it looks like all letters. That's kind of interesting. Usually in Canada here, there's always numbers too, but I guess not in the States. Or, I mean, this is the UK. Never mind. Yeah, 7 digits. That all checks out. Very cool. He's very like a, like an off-road type of vehicle, so he looks good. Plastic bumper. Check the base. Plastic bumper on the front too. Didn't even realize it was plastic. Looks good though. And then wow, what the heck? Look at that. He actually has actual screws for his base. They never do that. Wow. That is really shocking. And they're like the triangle shaped screws. That's actually really cool. I wish they were all like that, because then you can actually unscrew the base if you want. Usually they put rivets, like let me show you on Sarge, you can kind of see. They always put rivets, and once you put a rivet in, you can't really get it out without breaking it. So I always kind of hoped that they would use actual screws on these cars, but I knew they never would. I don't know why they don't. Maybe they don't want you to be able to open it up, because then I guess it would make it easier to make customs. So Mattel probably wouldn't want that. N08A is the date stamp, though. So what would that be? The 8th week of 2020, I guess. Probably, yeah. I don't know how many times he was released in 2020, like how many cases. I think he was in quite a few, but I kind of forget because obviously I got it from the dollar store. But yeah, he looks very nice. Very, very cool car. Wanted to compare him to this guy again, though. Is this Garrett Taylor or is this the other one? And why can't I think of his name? I knew it going into the video, and now I'm just blanking on it. There's two of them. They look pretty much the exact same, just have different expressions, but I don't know. Anyways, he is a... Oh yeah, look at that. This one says Land Rover. This one says Range Rover. But he is a Range Rover, apparently. That's what it said online, at least. That's kind of weird. I wonder why. But he's got like the little gun on the side, obviously. Corporal Josh does not have that, which I'm kind of surprised. You'd think he would, being in the army and everything. But I think this is like he's like a security guard for the Queen, the royal family. I love everything about the Cars to London scenes. They're a lot of fun. I love the one part when the Queen shouts out, "Who's winning the race?" Very dumbfoundedly. That's funny. You know what's sad is that the Queen in the Cars world would not be alive anymore, and she was, well, I think, one of the highlights of the movie, even though she wasn't in it all that much. But obviously, she did pass away in real life, so I assume that she probably did in the world of Cars too. So that's kind of sad now that I think of it. But yeah, very cool car. I like Corporal Josh Coolant a lot. He does have a Disney store release too. Now that I think of it, but it's not very good. Like they did it pretty early on, right when Cars 2 came out in 2011, and it's really not very good because it lacks all of the camouflage design. It just has like a dark green for some reason. I don't really understand why, but I wish I could compare the two. But obviously, I don't really have that one, of course, because I think it was only in like multi packs and stuff. And I don't know. I've never been a big fan of the Disney Store cars or Shop Disney cars, as they're called now, I guess. Guaranteed no tailgaters. I love this though. I just want to show you guys. That's from the Sarge with Cannon release in 2018. Yeah, we got Captain Mounier, Corporal Kim, good old Sarge, of course. Let's put him right next to his buddy. I'm assuming they're buddies. I don't really know. Let's bring in the whole gang from London. We got the big old Topper Deckington bus. And who else do we got? I got Ramon back there. Let's bring in good old Garrett back there. Or I feel like his name might be Mike Lorengen. That's someone else, though, isn't it? I'm forgetting. It might actually be the name of the other one. Or the name of this guy. I have no idea. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Hope you did enjoy. And I'll see you guys next time for another review real soon, right here on the Cars Garage.